Okay, hi everyone. My name is Pamela, and thanks for coming to my channel. My channel is Pamela Finance, where we examine everything related to personal finance, which is great. I love personal finance. So tonight I have a guest. Today, whatever time you're watching this. And we are going to talk about student loans because they are a super important topic these days. And I am lucky enough that I never had student loans, but I would say like 9 out of 10 people do have student loans. Those are not official figures, but just unofficial anecdotally. Okay, so we are here with Brian Madeleine. Brian, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Brian Madeleine from Madeleine Financial Coaching. I run my own personal financial coaching business. I've been doing it for close to 6 months, but I've been in banking and financing for 6.5, coming up on 7 years now. And I know a little bit about student loans, I guess you could say. So that's why I'm here. I just real quick, obviously, I had over $70,000 in student loans, and I guess that's where we'll start. So
Okay, yeah. So, spoiler alert, Brian's a financial coach, and he definitely has his financial act together now. But actually, you can have your financial act together and still take out student loans. Any kind of debt can be, a careful tool for doing whatever it is that you want to do. So debt by itself is not necessarily a bad thing. Okay, so, but debt that you can't manage is a bad thing. Okay, so Brian, can you just tell us your overall story of
yeah,
student loans?
absolutely. So as I had kind of introed there a little bit, um, I not only got a bachelor's degree from Central Michigan University, but I also got a master's degree. And I went to Central Michigan from like 2006 to 2009, basically. And after that, I was out of college for a couple years. Didn't really find what I wanted to do, to be honest with you, in my bachelor's degree. So I said, hey, you know what? I really want to go back for my master's, something I've never, or nothing, no one in my family has ever done. It kind of made me feel, excited and all that. And I thought it would definitely better my career. So I went back for my master's in 2011. Took me about 2.5 years. And I got out in 2014. And basically, obviously I knew my dad wasn't just like paying cash for school at the time. So I knew he was somehow paying for it with loans of some sort and all that. And I appreciate that. Um, so once I got out in 2014, they give you a little bit of leeway, not too long, but I think it's like 6 months. I think I remember. And I mean, my dad was paying it on and off after I got out of my bachelor's degree, which was really nice of him, just helping out as I got like a better job and all that. Um, but after a while, after my master's degree, he kind of said, hey, you got a really steady job, you have good income. I need you to start forking in a little bit of money. And so I kind of knew it was coming, but I just didn't know the extent of it yet. And so that's kind of where I got started, I guess you could say. So
Okay. So, what kind of job did you have?
out of my bachelor's degree, so I went to school
Like
for
when your dad said, okay, you got to start paying back.
Oh, when I got okay, yeah. So believe it or not, that was in 2014. I was still at my retail job. I at
Oh,
that point, 2014, I was just I had just gotten promoted to like a department operation manager at the time. So that's why he kind of said, "Hey, now you're making some decent money. Let's start
okay.
working in some
Yeah.
money." But still wasn't like, I mean, the income wasn't like top notch. And at that point, I had already met my wife a few years before, and we were married in 2014. So um, basically I just started paying with my wife. I guess you could say whatever we needed, he needed to pay. And then he kind of just said, you got to take this over because it's yours. And as we gradually got more income, my wife and I, as I got promoted again in a year, we just started paying more and more towards it at that point. But yeah, retail was where I started all the way through like 2015. And yeah,
And what was your master's degree in?
I was an MBA in general management. So at the time, I figured I was going to go into some type of management role since I had been in retail so long. I knew I wasn't going to stay in retail the whole time. Obviously, I wanted a family, and the schedule is very gruesome if you've ever worked retail. So I mean, different hours and weekends and all that. But I did want to get into some type of management role. So
Okay, so 2015 is when you went into banking and finance.
yes, end of 2015. Yeah.
Okay, so what was your first job in banking and finance?
So I started off as I guess you would call it a personal banker. So just a financial banker. I started that in 2015, and then I switched companies to one of our local credit unions in 2017.
Okay.
Same thing, financial rep, personal banker. A year or so later, I got promoted to assistant manager, and then I just went to another company, still assistant manager. So that's the highest I ever got in banking and financing. But then I just, I had been doing it for so many years, just coaching people on their finances and coaching people on like debt and everything like that at my credit union. That I said, hey, I'm good at this. And I really want to help people. So I kind of just wanted to pass knowledge along. So
Okay, so let's get a more accurate picture here. So you had student loans, and you're so wonderful that your wife married you anyways.
Right. Yeah.
Did she have student loans?
No, she was one of those 10% or whatever. We just judged her, 1 out
Okay,
of 10.
great.
She had the
Okay,
benefit of,
so she really did love you.
she really did love me. Well, she didn't. Funny story. We'll real quick jump into that because in like 2013, essentially when we got married, is really when because she knew I had student loans at that point. We met in 2010, going into 2011, but she said, I need to see like what we're talking about because I really want to go to like Hawaii, and I had financial goals. So like, what are we talking here? And I was like, oh boy. So I opened it up with her one night, and it just, oh my God. I didn't know how much it was. Honestly, I was just giving my dad $100. And then when I started getting into it, I was like,
so you did not know. So
no. I knew it was a lot. I knew it was a good amount. I did not know it was over $70,000 though. So I was shocked when I opened it. So
what did you think it would be? Or did you even have any idea?
No idea, because like I said, when I was in my bachelor's degree, my dad was nice enough to pay a little bit here and there on the side. And then once I got into my master's degree, I'm like, all right, well, obviously this is costing money. And then I had to sit down and have that talk with him. So I didn't even know. Okay. I knew it was a good amount. I didn't think it was going to be $70,000. So I was pretty shocked.
What did I'm going to assume then fiance say? I mean, that's kind of a lot when you're in a relationship and you say, by the way,
it is
$20,000 worth of debt.
Yeah, but what's neat is she really in 2000, like we met in 2010, and in 2011 we really started to like merge our finances when we got serious, engage in everything. And she actually was more on top of financing and like controlling her credit and her like debts than I was. I had hardly no clue back even just 11 years ago about what credit barely was. I had a car with my dad, and that was it. Like I didn't know anything about it. She really actually started teaching me, I guess, more. And then I just took off with her, and then we just teamworked it from there on out.
I've been married for 28 yees, and oftentimes you find out the wife is the brains behind the operation.
Yeah. At the beginning, but we're both on the same page, and we just attack it and just keep it in line, everything. So
okay, so she I was going to ask, Were you good or okay financially regardless of those student loans? I mean, you said you didn't know, but everyone has a basic idea, of income and expenses.
hmm
I mean, how were you without those student loans?
I was fine. I mean, like I said, I had my original, my first car loan was with my dad because I didn't have any credit. But honestly, other than the car, I mean, I didn't really even, my wife introduced me to everything. Like she's got me
Okay.
Kohl's credit card. She got me set up with our bank's credit card after a year or so. And it's like, so I didn't have a lot of debt outside of that. I had a car
Okay.
and the loan and the student loans, and that's basically it.
Yeah.
So,
So she knew you were basically okay financially.
oh yeah.
It wasn't like you were some spendaholic or something like that. Okay,
No,
so
we would figure it out. She said we would figure it out. So,
that's a wonderful woman. And you're still together.
oh yeah.
Wow. That is really wonderful. Okay. So I'd love to ask more about that, but we are here to talk about
let's help the people with the student loans. Here we go.
So this, and I have really bad news for everyone else. This amazing, wonderful woman is obviously taken. So
Yeah, and she's not going anywhere. So
good. Okay. Okay. So the two of you kind of faced this together, and she said, we're going to figure something out. And I assume you said, we're going to figure something out.
Yeah.
So what did you start doing?
So we read that night when we opened it, saw how much it was. She said we need a plan. So basically we looked at so they're all government loans. I didn't have any private loans.
Yeah, I was going to ask for some more specifics. Okay.
Yeah, so they were all government loan, all through the same setup, Great Lakes or whatever it is out here in Michigan. And basically we just looked at them all. There's obviously different plans you can select. Not a lot of people know that because they don't check their student loans, but you can do the income driven one. I think we started with where we were in 2014, 15 income wise. We just did the long one and just kind of kept going like that.
When you say the long one,
I think it's like 25 years or something like that, but we weren't going to plan on paying it for 25 years. That was not ever going to be the goal. So whatever that minimum payment came to, that's what we started with. I mean, like I said, that was 8 years ago. So I think it was like a couple $100, $377. I want to say that number rings a bell. And so we did it. So we didn't cut ourselves dry, I guess you could say. We did the minimum payment for a while. So
let me interrupt. The minimum payment was you think it was $377.
That number rings a bell. Yeah, that number rings
So
a
in
bell.
some ways, it's kind of like having a nice car, like a car payment.
Slightly higher car payment. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So we paid the $377 for a while, and then I think I got a promotion, and then she got a new job, and so a little more income came in. And so we looked down at our budget without cutting us thin again. We said, all right, well, why don't we increase the payment now? Like I said, I don't remember how much we increased it, but at that point we had increased it more than the 377, which would obviously help chop down the student loan a little bit. And then shortly after that, in 2017, we adopted my first child. Our first child, I guess you could say. So this wasn't like we have 2 children right now. So it wasn't like we were just pouring all this money into the student loans. There was a process, and there was goals. I mean, we had a family now, and so we had to think about that. But the income just kind of kept coming in, and our debts were low. Her car had been paid off at that time. My car had been paid off at the time. So we said, you know what? We have extra income in our budget, or not as many expenses. Let's pour it on. I mean, it was kind of it wasn't our smallest debt. Obviously, we had some small credit cards and things, but we said this is important because we want to pay these off and not have to worry about them. So
okay, that's awesome. So it was basically a project for the two of you that you can share together. You were really goal driven. And I'm impressed that you did this while you were starting a family.
Mhm.
And the fact that you adopted, I mean, I don't mean to pry, but adoption takes money, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It's not cheap. Yeah, like you said, we'll stick with the student loans, but just put it this way: it was in the, let's see, it was in the five digits, I guess you could say. So well
Okay.
over $10,000.
I mean,
So
my only point is you had competing financial goals.
yes.
And while we talk about competing financial goals for a young couple who's now a young family, uh, did you think about buying a house?
Oh, so we did buy a house. We live in a house. I'm sorry, we should have backtracked on that, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah, we bought a house in 2014. So this was like right
you've
around the
done a
time
lot of
that
things.
we moved from, we were in an apartment for a couple years as we built our relationship, and then we got married in 2013, house in 2014. And so yeah, and then student loans smack dab in the middle.
Okay, so you decided to pour it on, but still, this was something that, could have taken 25 years to
Oh
pay
yeah.
off.
Yeah, if we wanted to do just the minimum payments, it would have taken over 20 years. At some point, I'm sure we would
Okay.
probably have increased them a little bit, but I mean, yeah, we decided there's no way we're going to do that. So,
Okay. So just because I want to get to some other things, although
yeah,
everything you say, I want to ask you more about,
I'm an
but
open book.
just because I want to keep this video short and with the big
Absolutely.
picture, um, did you follow any particular strategy, or did you just kind of say, we're gonna, I don't know, stop ordering takeout or something?
No, you know, we didn't have a strategy. We just kind of, well, we had a strategy. I mean, like I said, we got married in 2013. And then once she saw the loans and all that, her goal, and our goal is still in front of us, is next year for our 10-year anniversary, I want to go to Hawaii. That's what she said. And she goes, with your student loans and us building a family and having a house, that ain't gonna happen. So that was our biggest motivation, is we want to go. I've never been to Hawaii. She hasn't either. And that's something that we worked as one of our goals. And so we just basically, like I said, as our income went up and we looked at our budget every month, which we did, hey, we got extra money. Let's go. Let's just pour it on, because we weren't cutting ourselves. You hear the phrase rice and beans now. We never did that. We wanted to still
Okay.
live comfortably as a family, as a couple, and we did that. So we didn't cut ourselves down to like one car, or you hear stories like that. We didn't do any of that.
Okay.
We just strategically plan the money accordingly without cutting ourselves thin, I guess.
Okay. Great. Okay, so when did you finally pay it off?
Last December, just 2021. So it took us some time, but like I said, we also adopted two kids during this time and have a mortgage. So it wasn't like we were,
And you
you
bought a
know,
house. Wow.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no kids, no mortgage. We probably would have been done in a few years, to be honest with you. But yeah, it was a big moment. We just did it right before Christmas of last year. So it was pretty
Okay, awesome. Congratulations. So how does it feel to have those loans paid off?
so good. I mean, it honestly, like when we pushed the final button, we just kind of celebrated, and we went out for dinner, a nice dinner and everything. And to be honest with you, you hear all about, you know, whether or not the government's going to pay off people's loans, and people have way more loans than 70,000. I know that, lawyers and everything else. And it's not in the back of our mind anymore. And that's the best feeling. Now we can just focus on, our family, our mortgage, small car loan, that kind of thing. So we're feeling a lot better.
So I'm curious, now that you said you can focus on your family, your mortgage, your small car loan, do you have any intention to pay off your mortgage or your car loan?
Yeah, our car loan's next. I mean, that we're kind of we're going back to, I guess you could say, the snowball effect, if you may. So the car is the next payment. We just made a couple of huge payments on it. I had to get a new car about a year and a half ago because mine was 10 and a half years old, and well, I don't want to get a new car, we put more money into it than it was worth, and we got to sell it, so that was good. So
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
good.
I mean, 10 and a half years, you got
That's
my
a nice car.
blessing to get a new
Uh,
car. Okay, so have you taken that trip to Hawaii? Do you have
It's
any?
next year, 2023. So we're actually, but yeah, we're booking it. I don't know when we're gonna go. We're kind of debating on a few different months, but we're ready. We got all the money saved up. We're gonna just wait for. Obviously, right now is not the good time to book a flight.
Yeah,
um, but we're gonna wait a few months and see where that goes. And yeah, next year it's gonna be big. We're gonna renew our vows and everything. So it's gonna be a blast.
awesome. So are other people going with you?
No, oh, absolutely not. Our children are
Are
staying
the kids going?
here. This is just our couple. Yeah, the children will be staying with the grandparents for the week. So yeah,
Romantic. Woo.
I'm excited.
Okay. So, here's a question. Just, do you think student loan forgiveness should happen?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's kind of nice what they've forgiven so far. Um, I don't, I mean, the skeptical side of me would say, well, I paid off 70 grand, so why do other people get,
Yeah, I
the
was going to say, do you think you would resent people who got their student loans forgiven?
not necessarily, just because I've kind of been through the system, and I think that, I mean, we could sit here and talk all night, like you said, we don't want to get into too much, but I mean, I think that the student loan people, as you say, I think that yeah, I mean, we got charged enough to go to college, I think. Let's just put it that way. And so I think that it's not fair that, like, some people may get more paid off, but I'm not sure how much. In my opinion, I don't know how much more they're going to pay off, to be honest with you. They've done a lot already, so we'll see. But I wouldn't be
Okay,
resentful. I mean, it's a huge accomplishment, so I mean,
it is. Yeah. Okay. And now you're coaching other people. So here's the question. What advice would you give to someone
mhm.
graduating either from college or from graduate school with a ton of student loans?
I would say just have a plan. Part one, have a plan. I've heard too many stories recently of people that I know, my friends, my family, of people that have coached that are like, well, like, my student loans, yeah, I mean, they're forgiven until the end of August. It's like, I haven't really looked at them because, the whole COVID plan, basically for a year and a half, or however long they've been forbeared, I guess you could say, they haven't even looked at it. And that's kind of scary, because I feel like it's like, I mean, it feels like COVID just started, and it's been over 2 years now. And so it's end of August is going to come like that. I mean, we're almost in May, right? And so having a plan and being prepared to not just kind of ignore them, in my mind,
Yeah.
and saying you got to pay something. So look at the plans that they're going to give you. I mean, like I said, there's a long-term one that's more of an income-driven one. There's kind of like a middle ground, usually 10 years, 15 years, and then there's a fast-paced one. I mean, whatever you're comfortable doing without cutting yourself thin, you got to do something. And if it's now, especially it's a government loan and you're against 0% literally till the end of August, you got to put something towards it, because all that interest is going to collect,
Yeah, I
and
was going to
eventually
say,
they're gonna come after us eventually. They're not gonna just keep pushing it back.
yeah, they're not going to forget about you. And I've heard about people who graduate with a certain amount of student loans, and then the interest accrues and they're
Yeah.
paying, and somehow the debt balance grows.
Oh yeah. 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 I mean, anything extra that you can put towards it is only gonna, I mean, help, I would say. I mean, you can't just ignore them. They're not gonna go away necessarily. So, I mean, I'm not sure how much more they're gonna pay off for people. So don't expect that. I would say don't hold your breath on that. Don't expect them to
Okay.
pay off your loan. That'd be my opinion. Third
So
opinion.
our practical takeaways for this is, I would say, number one, know that for someone who has loans and they're watching this video, So number one, know that it can be done. Okay.
Mhm.
Number two, as you said, don't, hide from your loans. Face up to the facts, take a look.
Yep.
They're there whether you know about them or not.
Mhm.
It's kind of like if you think there's something wrong with your weight and you're afraid to get on the scale, which I do sometimes. I'm afraid of the scale. The problem is it's there. The truth is there, whether
It's not going away. Yeah, it's not going away.
it's
It's there.
not going away. And yeah, you can kind of, buy, I don't know, bigger size clothes if you weigh too much, but with your student loans, that's a real issue, in my
Right.
opinion. Okay. And yeah, I guess the third takeaway is Brian's a financial coach. I'm a financial coach. We're both really good at talking about budgeting and debt and all kinds of things. And there are people who can help you out. I mean, I don't mean we're going to pay off your loans, but I mean,
No. I've already,
we can help you
no.
figure out what to do, and then you can do it.
Get you on track. How about that, Pam? Get you on track.
Yeah,
Get your mindset set out. Figure something out.
and the
That's
thing
what we're
is,
here for.
whenever you one in the general sense, whenever you accomplish something great, it feels so good. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what you said. And you and your wife did this together. And my hunch is it brought you together. I mean, I don't think people should take on debt just to improve their relationship. That is not going to
No.
work. But
No.
I mean, it's just really awesome that you did that. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you so much, Brian. Let us
Thank
know
you.
in the comments what questions you have about student loans. Let us know what you want to know about Brian, because we are going to answer them. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.